Hi everybody, I'm JT. Welcome to another video from me here at Campervan Journey, and you join me somewhere in France, continuing our trip with no plan. So Sunday morning, and it's important that we get our baguette and pain au chocolat for the day. So there was nothing in the little, it wasn't even a village where we were staying, just in the middle of nowhere. So we've driven about 5 kilometers down the road to the nearest town where there is an artisan boulangerie and a very nice little square. This is, the town's called Fossat or Fossat. But yeah, it's a lovely little place. Our mission to obtain baguettes and pain au chocolat should be achieved in the artisan boulangerie. Looks popular with the locals, which is always a good sign. The chocolatines here, not pain au chocolats. And Harry's going to love his pain au raisin. Mission accomplished. Do a baguette. They look nicer than the Spanish ones. As soon as you get off the main road, then we've got all these really old buildings here. Look at the overhangs. They're like Tudor style, timber framed. And this is the beauty of touring around in your camper van, is that you get to discover places like this. Real France. Little market square, and all as we were just happening to drive through looking for a boulangerie to grab our bread and pastries. What a lovely start to the day. And there's a beautiful old church across the road. Very interesting architectural style, if that's your thing. And loads of bells up in the belfry. Worth the stop. Back in France. I can't even remember what they were called, the ones that we had in Spain, but they weren't quite the same. The pastry was a little bit heavier and they had more chocolate in. But this chocolatine, as it's known in this part of France, looks like we're back to the way things should be. Let's find out. Delicious. As I mentioned before, any bakery that's got a long queue, it's always a good sign.
That one had a long queue.
Like Claire said, that one had a long queue. Very good. I'm going to miss these when we're back in the UK. So we are, fully refreshed. We can head back on our way. I'm trying to get a little bit further north today to partially get part of our journey on the way back done, because we are, looking at the map, we are right at the bottom of France still. And also to try and escape a little bit of the heat maybe, but I'm not sure we're going to be successful in that. But it's going to be 38, 40 degrees here. If we can find somewhere that's early 30s and maybe got a lake or a pool, that'd be a nice bonus.
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by, life is good.
Time for lunch.
Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. Oh, I feel.
Have we had to this one?
teeny tiny air with no space.
I found my way. I found my way.
And no shade anyway.
I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day. Cause I found my way. I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. Cause I found my way.
Second trial.
Found my way.
Second trial.
Cause I found my way. My way.
I think this is a bigger one.
It's bigger, but it looks like it serves both sides of the motorway, so
Roads aren't that busy this morning, so we will see.
camp and cry.
Not very glamorous, but we can stop. So our second attempt at a lunch stop today was a little bit more successful in that we managed to find a parking space, albeit in the truckers area. It's very busy today, but we stayed in the van because it's quite hot outside. But we have, I think, identified somewhere using the Search for Sites app that looks like it might be a nice place to spend a night or two, a municipal camping place closer to Limoges. It's about an hour and 45 minutes away, so we're going to head there and see if they've got room for us. And if that doesn't work out, then we will revert to seeing if we can find a France Passion location nearby. In the meanwhile, this has been our glamorous view. So we've arrived at Camping de la Lande, which is a municipal campsite on the outskirts of Nexon, around about 20 kilometres from Limoges, I want to say, not very far away, and it looks lovely. On the edge of the town, on the top of a hill, I think there's a etang or a lake next to the campsite, and we've just checked in. We can book in, we can choose whichever pitch we like, and for 2 nights for the 3 of us with electricity, if we want to use it, it's €31. €31, which is super cheap. Let's go and find our pitch.
That one, that's a nice. Well, that one's a nice shady one. It's full. That one hasn't got much shade. That's a nice shady one.
It's a bit narrow, that one.
Oh, that's what's it enough. It's a good little site.
So I think we've struck a bit lucky here, which is well, not a surprise at all on this trip, because we've been lucky with every single stopover or campsite we've had. We haven't had a duff one at all. So as we head towards the end of the trip, I keep thinking in the back of my mind, maybe we're going to have a duff one. But as I said, leading up to stopping here, we decided to try and head back north, which was suited us for getting back to towards the UK. later on this week, but also to try and escape some of the scorching heat which is just crept into southern France, temperatures around 40 to 42 degrees. And we just found on search for sites this campsite, Camping de la Lande, near Nexon, or on the outskirts of Nexon, which is, I think, about 20 kilometres from Limoges. But very, very cheap, lovely laurel-lined pitches. It's a municipal campsite, which means it's effectively it's run by the council, or part of the town's responsibility rather than being privately owned. But look what we've got. Lovely pitch for the van. Chocks are needed, but not too much of an incline. And then overlooking this beautiful etang or lake. Nice shade offered from these trees. We are pointing south, where the trees are going to give us some nice shade, and as an electric hookup point just on the corner, so if we don't get much solar, then we've got free electricity anyway. What a result. And even better than that, 31 euros. 31 euros for 2 nights for all 3 of us, including electricity. What a bargain. So I know you like to keep up to speed with what we are having to eat whilst we're travelling around, and tonight we've got a bit of a treat. Campsite curry. Our little Cadac is so versatile, it's untrue. But when you flip the lid over, it makes a perfect little wok style dish to make campsite curry. So that's what we're having tonight. All that with another lovely view. I think I should probably test it to check that it's okay. That is definitely okay. More than okay. So, some quite slender chicken fillets, chicken breast fillets from, believe it or not, a Spanish Aldi. Chicken in Aldi, especially in Spain, was very, very cheap. Excuse the pun. A jar of curry paste, onion, mushrooms, and just stirred up. Oh, with a bit of coconut milk, again from the Aldi. And yeah, that'll be very, very tasty, thank you. There we go, 1 campsite curry. Ready to go. Just missing naan breads and poppadoms, but can't have everything.
Mango chutney.
And mango chutney. We have got some beer though.
If you hadn't heard already, you can now buy a Campervan Journey sticker. So if you fancy one of these, drop me an email at campervanjourney@gmail.com and I'll let you know how you can buy one. Looks pretty good on the van, I think.
So it's going to be a super hot day today, so we just decided to get up early and walk to the nearest Super U. It's only about half a mile from the campsite where we've been staying, but has the benefit of air conditioning, which is much appreciated already. It's only 11 o'clock, but it's going to be 37, 38 degrees, so we're just going to try and have a relaxed, chilling day with the van. How hot is it, Harry?
Bearable.
Bearable? Oh. There's a man who can cope with it. Sorry, that rattling noise is Claire breaking out the ice cubes. Top tip, if you break your ice cubes out into a Ziploc bag, then you can keep them cold in your freezer and then refill the tray to double up. There you go, another Campervan Journey top tip for hot weather. So today we have stayed pretty much around the campsite because it's forecast to be 37 degrees, which is super hot. When you're a pasty Englishman like me, anything over 30 is a bit much. But it's about 34, 35 at the moment. I'm just going to enjoy our lunch, but we are blessed with this little campsite of some nice shady cover, the awning on the side of the van, and a bit of a breeze coming from the lake, which is all helping us, as Harry says, cope and it be a little bit more bearable. But got another great holiday lunch to enjoy. Some fresh baguettes from the Super U just down the road, ham, cheese, bit of salad, and relax as much as we can in this heat wave. And I know there's a heat wave at the same time back in the UK, so please don't feel too sorry for us. Now, if you need another top tip for staying cool in this super hot weather, Harry's going to share it with you.
Shoe ice.
Shoe ice? What do you mean by shoe ice?
Put ice in your shoes.
Ice in your shoes. Now, it probably only works if you're wearing Crocs or something similar, not normal trainers or leather shoes. But what happens when you put shoe ice in?
It cools you down.
It gets super cool.
Probably get iceburn though, actually.
Is it worth it?
Yeah,
Worth the risk.
Probably.
Top tip has a well done.
Ice.
Oh. Yeah, that's broken the finisher.
Yep.
You've gone for
You're doing lots of small pieces.
I am. I'm going to have
baguette mini bites.
pâté with my...
Oh, you didn't say it was
Right.
pâté.
You saw me put it in the chocolate trolley.
I did.
Anna.
Terrine de
Watermelon.
Campervan. Well, I'll have some of that as well. Phew! In 37 degrees, there's not much else to do apart from sit under a tree. Claire and I are struggling in the heat, and Harry says it's quite nice. Not sure about that, but there we are. So, good morning. I think it's Tuesday in our final week of our trip with no plan as we tour around France. We've enjoyed 2 nights here at the municipal campsite in Nexon, just a little way outside of Limoges, and we basically sort of paused our travels because we've had quite an intense heat wave here in France. Temperatures certainly where we were staying south of Toulouse earlier on in the trip were reaching, or potentially going to reach, up to 42, 43 degrees Celsius, which is just absolutely crazy and too hot really. So like lots of people, we've tried to escape the heat, and we've stopped here for a couple of nights. Really cheap site, but it's given us everything we've needed just to escape the heat as best we can, with a nice pitch with water and plenty of shade. Anyway, the weather is breaking, so we're going to head further north through France, which we're going to do anyway because we need to consider our journey back at the end of the week. But we're going to travel today up towards Chinon in the Loire Valley, one of our favourite areas of France, and given our experience here, I think we'll probably if we don't go for a France Passion site, see if we can find, using the Search for Sites app, another municipal site. So if it's half as good as this one's been, then we'll be on to a winner. This is one of the things that we've discovered on this trip, and I knew, I had an inkling that this would be the case, but it is possible to tour France with absolutely no plan at all, because they're so much better at looking after campervanners, motorhomers, caravanners as they tour around France. Almost every medium-sized, small to medium-sized town or location has got at the very least a stopover where you can park your van legally. Beyond that, a designated camping area, such as this camping municipal site that we're staying in, or we've stayed in for a couple of nights, through to full-blown campsites for, with 100+ pitches. But the way that they encourage that and encourage you to travel around appears to be completely different to the UK. And guess what we do every time we stop somewhere like this? We spend some money. Obviously, we're spending money at the campsite, we're spending money in local shops, we're spending money at boulangerie, and potentially we'll spend money at restaurants as well. So it really encourages a whole culture, and that's the thing that I love in France. And it's just a shame that we don't get that encouragement in the UK. Obviously the weather helps, the weather makes a big difference to making that practical and feasible in France. Generally it's better, especially in the summertime. But if you had those facilities or services in the UK, then who's to say we wouldn't do the same trip in the UK? Whilst we're packing up everything to move on, just thought I'd tell you about another couple of essential pieces of kit that we've found on this trip. One is this battery-powered fly zapper. Now, in the French countryside, especially if we've been staying on farms or near to farms or rivers or lakes, there's always going to be a lot of bugs around. Now, the fly screens do work to some extent on the windows. All of the windows have got them, and obviously in the pop top as well, and on the main door. But once they're in. So this fly zapper is a very effective way of getting rid of some of them. It's also very satisfying. In conjunction with that, we've got a little UV lamp that we just leave on the table in the van overnight, and that just draws in any that are flying around. Now, I have been bitten quite a lot on this trip, so these obviously, well, I like to think these are helping, but yeah, if bugs bother you, then just, again, top tip for travelling around, especially in the summer. And I'm sure you hear about places like Scotland and Norway being similar, and just make sure you're prepared for those bugs. So we decided to pull over in a little village and park under some trees for our lunch. As you can see from my reversing camera shot, we are definitely under the trees. So we've driven about, in fact, probably closer to 2 hours across country and taken a non-toll route this morning to head up towards Chinon. Having a look on Google Maps, the time difference between taking a toll route and a non-toll route was about 5 minutes, so there was no advantage in paying extra to go on the auto routes and main roads. So we've enjoyed some lovely rural French countryside as we've travelled up here, and we've just found a nice little village green to pull over and have some lunch. Beautiful surroundings of the village church. Bit of shade to enjoy a sandwich. We've decided to take advantage of the great experience we had for the last couple of nights at a municipal campsite, and have used this Search for Sites app to find what looks like a similar site just north of Chinon, which is called the Camping Municipal Bourgale. I'll put the details on the screen when we get there, but it is about an hour and 40 minutes away, a couple of 100 kilometres. So we'll get on and drive over there, and we should be there hopefully around about 4 o'clock. But the route, I think, is going to be all pretty much rural, countryside, non-main roads for the majority of the way. So we'll So it is, where are we? 6:15. So a little bit later in the day than when I last spoke to you, and our trip with no plan has not gone quite to plan. Let me explain. We finished our lunch in that lovely little village stop by the church, identified a campsite, a municipal campsite on the Search for Sites app that looked great. It was by a lake, described as having a good range of shady pitches, was not too far from Chinon, which we're thinking we might visit tomorrow. And so we had set off there as planned. It was about a 120 kilometre drive, about an hour and a half from where we'd had our lunch. And we pulled in, and there was a queue of vans getting in, about 3 or 4 vans ahead of us. And when we went into reception to speak to them and said, have you got anything, they said, yes, we have, but we've only got one place, and there's no shade, it's full sun. So even though the temperature is a little bit cooler here, it's still 33, 34 degrees, and yeah, full shade, full sun pitch just wasn't an option. So then what we decided to do was have a look at the France Passion sites to see if there was anything in the immediate vicinity. And because we're in the winemaking region of the Loire Valley, there were several options that we could look at. So we drove to the nearest one, which was only about 5 minutes down the road, pulled into this beautiful vineyard, found the France Passion motorhome park-up area, and again, next to the vines, but no shade. And so quickly knocked that one on the head, as lovely as it was. Read through the France Passion handbook just to scan the other locations that were nearby, and again they're all described as lovely pitches next to the vines, but if you've never been to a vineyard and seen the vines, they're generally about 4 foot high, so they're not going to generate any shade, and if there's any trees in the way, then the trees are going to be inhibiting the growth of the vines. So shady pitches and vineyards don't really go together. So we went back to Search for Sites for the 3rd time and identified 2 more municipal sites that were within 15-20 minutes drive of where we were, and picked the closest one and stumbled on it. Have you got any place? Yes, you have. Are your pictures shady? Yes, they are. Can we stay for a few days? Yes, you can. Brilliant. So we're all booked in, and this is our pitch. I think we've done rather well. So it's quite a basic site, but the pitches are all well spread out. Good size, as you can see. That's got to be 100 metre square pitch. It's about half full. There seems to be quite a few tents and cyclists, motorhomes from various places, and we've taken a pitch which has got good shade from the trees. We've opted to have hookup because we've not got, would be okay for electricity if we didn't have hookup, but just for the sake of a few pound extra, just why not? And we'll probably spend 2 nights here. What's in there then? Chips. Campsite chips. Spanish sausages. And English baked beans. It's not the problem with the sausages, well, not the problem, just something unusual. Spanish sausages appear to come in packs of the like. 11.
I'm all about it.
How weird's that? Perhaps they just got bored of counting. So, that looks really good. And those chips, frites, are stunning. So I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and of course drop me any comments or questions below if you wanted to get in touch. Look forward to seeing you on the next video very soon. Thanks for watching.